Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're dialing in from around the world. Welcome to the UICC 2024 General Assembly. My name is Kerry Adams and I'm the CEO of the UICC, and it's my great pleasure to kick us off today. I'd like to welcome all the UICC members from around the world, the partners of UICC and friends of UICC who are dialing in today. For those of you who are full members, you can still vote. The voting platform is still open and you can post questions on the voting platform as well, and we'll try to cover those later in the Q&A session. For those of you watching the live stream, there is a chat box and you can post comments and questions in there as well. Now, it's my great honour to introduce Jeff Dunn, who's the current president of the UICC, and he will open the General Assembly. Jeff, over to you in Brisbane, Australia.
Thank you, Kerry. Thank you very much, Kerry, to you in Geneva. And yes, it's Jeff Dunn here from Brisbane, Australia. And what a great pleasure it is to be with you all at this 2024 UICC General Assembly. And of course, General Assemblies are very important to the overall governance of our organisation. So this is an important event and I'm delighted to be able to share it with you. The meeting should last about an hour. It will be a mix of live presentations and recordings. And of course, as Kerry has just mentioned, there will be some voting and we will talk about some results throughout the meeting. It's terrific to have so many of you from all around the world join us for this, our General Assembly. By way of background, you know, in 2023, we celebrated our 90th anniversary as an organisation. We rebranded the UICC, a fresh new look, and the feedback has been tremendous around the world. We've also have a team of 50 staff, approximately 50 staff who work in our Geneva office primarily, but who are supported by thousands of individuals and hundreds of organisations around the world through our members, our stakeholders and our partners. In 2023, we were delighted to win the Covenant International Association of the Year Award, which speaks volumes to how well the UICC is valued around the world. We have more than 60 great partners to support our work. We work closely with the WHO and other UN agencies, and we are very proud of the many organisations, alliances and coalitions which we've established over the years. Next slide. So the General Assembly has some specific tasks. There's a role for the General Assembly in our Constitution, Article 10.8. The Assembly is the supreme governing body of the UICC. And the General Assembly is required to do a number of things, and these are listed on the slide. To elect a president-elect and members of the Board of Directors, to amend the Constitution where that is necessary. Note that there are no constitutional amendments scheduled for discussion this evening, and the Constitution will stay as it is. Receive and adopt the UICC activity reports and plans, to receive and approve UICC audited financial accounts, to discharge the Board of Directors and the Chief Executive Officer of their responsibilities for the reporting period. I stress for the reporting period. We are not discharging Kerry, our Chief Executive Officer. So let's turn to the agenda for the meeting. Our proposed agenda is as follows. First of all, we'll approve the minutes of the 2022 General Assembly and the proposed agenda. We will review the last 2 years, and I will provide that review by way of a recording I made a couple of weeks back at the World Cancer Congress. Our treasurer, our esteemed treasurer, Hannah, will actually review our financial performance. My dear friend and colleague, Anil Cruz, past president, will run through the election process overview, just to make sure each and every one of us understands what's been going on, that it is transparent and that it is handled objectively. We will then have a live Q&A, which Kerry will facilitate from Geneva, and Ulrika, Hannah and I will participate in that. We'll then look at approvals for financial accounts 2022-23, and we will look to discharge the board and the Chief Executive Officer of responsibilities for the reporting period. Then we'll hear from Ulrika, who will spend a little bit of time sharing with us her thoughts and ambitions for the UICC over the coming couple of years. And then, of course, we get to what's very important on the evening, are the results of our voting for the President-elect and the Board of Directors. Hopefully, our newly elected President-elect will be able to join us later in the meeting for a few words. At that point, we will close the General Assembly. So let us begin. First up, if we might, next slide. By approval of the minutes of the General Assembly 2022, they were circulated on the 7th of August, along with notification of this meeting. Can we please see the results of our voting on approval of the minutes? And we'll see there that we have almost unanimous approval. So then let us accept the minutes of the 2022 General Assembly as a fair and correct record. Thank you to everyone. Can we now turn our attention to the agenda for this evening's meeting? May we have the results for voting on approval of the agenda? And again, 98.7% in support of the agenda. So let's then accept the agenda as approved by the membership for this meeting. Thank you very much. We now move to my review of the past 2 years. And as I mentioned, I recorded a video piece at the 2024 World Cancer Congress in Geneva just a couple of weeks back. And perhaps now we could throw to the video. Thank you.
Hello. I recorded this presentation a couple of weeks ago at the World Cancer Congress in Geneva, and what a great event it was. And now it's an opportunity for me to talk with you about the past 2 years and how great they've been. Of course, the UICC turned 90, which provided us with an opportunity to reflect, and we also took that opportunity to refresh our brand, and you can see the artwork there. We were also recognised as a terrific institution, an organisation worthy of note, and it's always encouraging for us to get recognition from our peers and partners around us for the good work we do. We also celebrated the 3rd year of our Close the Care Gap campaign for World Cancer Day, and what a great success it was. There was record coverage in traditional and social media. The World Cancer's Leaders Summit in Long Beach, California in 2023 brought together 350 cancer leaders discussing long-term strategic issues about cancer control. And of course, we've just celebrated the World Cancer Congress 2024 in Geneva. 2,000 people coming together, uniting in pursuit of our shared mission in cancer control. A wonderful event it was. We've been representing our members, the United Nations High-Level Meeting on UHC in 2023. Important work. The United Nations High-Level Meeting on Antimicrobial Resistance in 2024 has just happened. We were there. We understand the impact that AMR may have on cancer control and treatment of this disease. We want to be at the front in terms of making sure that it is addressed. The WHO Cervical Cancer Elimination Initiative. We're partnering with the WHO and others to make sure that we're there on your behalf to make this as possible as it can be. And who would have thought even a few years ago that eliminating a cancer was on our agenda and in the foreseeable future? And of course, we're sitting on the Governing Council of the International Agency for Research in Cancer. All of these things are about representing our members at the highest levels to ensure that our advocacy is heard. We keep cancer on that global agenda. In supporting our members, our capacity building activities have never been more important. In learning and development, there were 749 individuals from UICC members have now been supported in 2022 and 23. We have fellowships and grants in play, a total of 1.8 million distributed by the UICC for our projects and grants in this period. And a total of 65 young leaders have engaged over 10 years of the program and are having an impact globally. We are very proud of our young leaders. In special projects, the Solidarity Fund of euro 1 million for Ukraine, helping patients affected by the war. The Access to Oncology Medicine Coalition, ATOM, which has now secured more than 70 cancer medicines for low and middle income countries. This is a great achievement. We will continue. We are committed to doing what we can to provide access to oncology medicines. UICC Connect, our new online community platform to bring us together at all times, every day of the year. Check it out. It can help us together make a difference. Sister organisations continue to thrive. We are proud of our role in the establishment of the NCD Alliance, the International Cancer Control Partnership, the McCabe Centre for the Law and Cancer, and of course CCAN, all vibrant, important organisations making a difference in their own right, but ones that we were involved with right at the beginning. And of course our partners. There are many, many, many of you out there. Our global partners make it possible for us to do what we do, and we thank you for it. Without you, our cancer control activities could not be what they are. To each and every one of you, we thank you, and we thank you in advance for your ongoing commitment. And of course, if you're interested in more information, I do refer you to our 2022 and 2023 annual reports. They are full of detail. They provide a narrative. They are worth a read. They are engaging. And of course, if you're interested in more information about our financials and about our governance, all of that information is contained within them. I do encourage you, have a look online, read the report, learn about what we do and how we go about doing it. Thank you for your attention. Right now, I'll pass back to Kerry and the team live in Geneva.
Thank you very much, Jeff, for that great overview of the last few years. It certainly has been fun and very rewarding. It's now an opportunity for me to pass over to Hannah, our Treasurer for the last 2 years, to talk through the financial results of the organisation. And I would at this point just to pay respect to all of our partners who have contributed to the work that we've done, particularly the global equity partners who've done so much to help us to achieve much in the projects and programmes that we've been leading. So now we go over to Hannah. Hannah's recording was done at the World Cancer Congress too, so hopefully we can go through to that presentation.
Thank you, Kari. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to present to you the financial results of UICC as audited by PwC for 2022 and 2023. As the Treasurer, it has been my role to be responsible for the financial governance of UICC in accordance with the directive issued to me by the Board of Directors, to submit annually to the Board of Directors an audited financial statement, and also to submit annually to the Board of Directors a draft budget for the following year, as well as budget revisions as necessary for the current year. I'm pleased to have fulfilled these duties over the last 2 years as the Treasurer of the UICC. Firstly, I'd like to give an overview of how we manage the financial welfare of the organization before I cover the financial results. As a Treasurer, I chair the Finance, Risk and Audit Committee, which comprises a subset of the full board members and includes the President and President-elect. We meet at least 3 times each year to review the finances of the organization, the risk register, and the audit results. The management team maintains sound financial management processes, working within the limits and policies which we set at the committee. We adopt best practice in the way we conduct our financial management, and we voluntarily arrange an audit of our systems, finances, policies, and internal processes on an annual basis from a respected third-party auditor. In recent years, this has been done by PwC. As Treasurer, I report into the board at each meeting on the progress of the organization. Once each year, After the conclusion of the audit, myself and the auditors report to the board together. In 2023, UICC was impacted severely by the strengthening of the Swiss franc against the US dollar. As this chart shows, the US dollar was worth approximately 1 Swiss franc in October 2022, but fell steeply in value, concluding the year at only 0.83 Swiss francs. Given that the UICC's income has been predominantly in US dollar in recent years and that costs are mostly in Swiss francs, this meant that UICC saw a net reduction in income of some 20% during the year purely because of the currency exchange movement. With the support of the Swedish Cancer Society, the Norwegian Cancer Society, and the Dutch Cancer Society, we concluded the year with a balanced budget, and I would like to thank those organizations for their generous support in 2023. Following discussions with our auditor, PwC, and agreement at the board in late 2023, we made some changes to our accounting methods in 2024, and these have now been completed. Firstly, we have moved our base accounting currency to Swiss franc from the US dollar. Secondly, we invoice now in Swiss francs and not in US dollar. Finally, we changed our financial reporting to Swiss francs. With this in place, we are less exposed to large currency movement as we have been in the past. We concluded 2022 with a small financial surplus, mainly due to a favorable exchange rate at the time. We concluded 2023 with a balanced budget. No loss, no surplus, which was a very good result, given the currency exchange challenges we had with the US dollar and with the Swiss franc. UICC's income is received from multiple sources: membership fees, partnership fees, royalties from our publications, and recoveries from our restricted projects and programs. We also receive rental income from other organizations who use our premises in Geneva. Our cost base is predominantly people cost, being the staff in Geneva and the consultants we employ elsewhere around the world. On this slide, I have shown the amount we have received for our restricted activity in 2022 and 2023. That is the work we undertake for which we are specifically funded to do. The restricted activities we undertake are in line with the mandate provided by the Board of Directors and as detailed in the UICC business plan, which is available on uicc.org and is reported on in each of the annual reports. You will note that many of our projects and programs are fully funded, and it is from these funds we take the recoveries into the P&L as shown on my previous slide to cover the costs of the people we employ to undertake that work. Despite the difficulties raising funds post-pandemic, UICC still has reserve levels of cash which meet the minimum requirement set out by the board. That is 25% of operating costs. In addition, UICC holds some extra funds which takes the reserve level up to more than 35%. This means that should another crisis like the pandemic affect UICC, we have adequate financial cover to weather the storm. I thought it would be interesting to present to you where UICC funds come from to fund the organization. In this chart, I show the annual and total income UICC has received in 2022-2023. You will note that UICC membership fees accounts for only 9% of total income during this 2-year period. UICC partners provide on average 60% of the total income. Royalty income is fairly constant at approximately 1.1 million Swiss franc per year. The event income varies year on year depending on whether UICC is running a congress or a summit. On this slide, I have included our 2024 financial outlook. We are aiming to close 2024 with a balanced budget. The numbers on this slide are in Swiss franc, given the board decision to change from the US dollars. As I mentioned earlier, UICC has been audited in 2022 and 2023 by PwC. Unlike many non-government organizations in Switzerland, UICC is audited at the highest level possible. I am pleased to report that in both years, UICC received a clean audit with some guidance on areas to consider in the coming year. In 2022, PwC suggested we stay up to date with cyber risk training and review our systems to ensure we are protected. This has been done. In 2023, PwC suggested we formalize our currency exchange rate policies and develop a policy for closing off completed trust fund activities. Both of these suggestions have been implemented, having been supported and approved by the Board of Directors. In summary, we concluded 2022 and 2023 in a sound financial position. Our reserve levels continue to be adequate in line with the policy set out by the Board of Directors. The audits in 2022 and 2023 conducted by PwC reconfirmed my view that the financial management of the organization is sound. On this basis, I recommend that the membership confirms their support and approval of the financial performance of the organization in 2022 and 2023. I will now hand back to Carrie in Geneva Studio.
Thank you very much, Hannah, and it's been a pleasure working with you as Treasurer over the last couple of years. Just to remind you that the voting platform continues to be open at the moment, so if you are going to vote, please vote quickly, and we'll know at the end of this meeting who our new president-elect is and also the new Board of Directors. Of course, at the end of the meeting, Ulrika will become the new president of UICC. Now, that process of identifying candidates for you to vote on was managed through a nominating committee, and as part of that committee, we had Anil de Cruz, our immediate past president, who played a key role. We're now going to pass over to Anil, who pre-recorded an outline of the process of the elections, and I hope that he's online now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carrie. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to provide you with a commentary on the election process, which will conclude in the coming moments for the President-elect and the Board of Directors. The UICC Constitution states that the President chairs the nomination committee, which includes the President-elect, the immediate past President, and 2 other members of the Board appointed by the board itself who are not standing for re-election. President Jeff Dunn has been responsible for the process. It has been our job as the nominating committee to secure an appropriate number of nominees for the available places on the board and to ensure that the slate is a diverse one, giving you, UICC full members, a list of some great people from which to make a choice. This is a competitive process, so not everyone who nominates gets onto the final list of names. The nominating committee's job is to ensure a balance between board renewal and global and skill set diversity. The members of this year's nominating committee have been Jeff Dunn, our president, Ulrika, our president-elect, myself as the immediate past president, Daniel Roden and Christiana Fonseca, who are both leaving the board today, and therefore qualified to be on the nominating committee as approved by the current board of directors. The call for nomination was issued to the UICC members in March of 24. We, the nominating committee, reviewed all nominations on the 26th of May at a meeting which was held in person in Geneva. We screened all nominations to ensure that they were suitably qualified against the criteria made public with the call for nominations. We reviewed 5 nominations for the role of President-elect and 26 nominations for membership of the board. I must say that the standard of nominations was excellent. From those candidates who qualified to be a member of the UICC board and President-elect, we then prepared a short list of outstanding candidates who were ideal to represent the UICC members on the board of UICC. Once concluded, we then considered the short list in the context of diversity, area of expertise, geography, and agreed we had a list which was well balanced, every criteria set out in the Constitution. We ended up with 2 individuals for the President-elect and 19 candidates for the Board of Directors. The names and profiles of these candidates were announced to the members of the UICC on the 7th of August this year. Voting has been in place for all UICC members since midnight last night, Geneva time, and it is still open for a few more minutes through this assembly. Let me make a few personal comments on the process. We conducted proceedings very professionally. The candidates were reviewed objectively, and all members of the nominating committee were given sufficient information for them to make informed decisions. The nominating committee reached a unanimous decision on all candidates individually, and the full list which you have spent time considering. For the President-elect, we have 2 nominations, C.S. Pramesh from India and Zainab from Nigeria. Pramesh is also running as a candidate for the Board of Directors. If he gets elected as President-elect in the first round of voting, then his name and votes will be removed from the Board of Directors election process, which subsequently follows. Our candidates for the Board of Directors are as follows: Matti Apro from Switzerland, Setsi from Mongolia, Stella from America, Eric from Canada, Myra Kalafi from Brazil, Hannah from Lebanon, Todd Harper from Australia, Chris Jackson from New Zealand, Diliara from Kazakhstan, David Kerr from United Kingdom, Purna Kurkure from India, Gilberto Lopez from America, Kenji Lopez from Mexico, Asim Mansour from Jordan, Miriam from Kenya, Omar from Jordan, Pramesh from India, Kathleen from America, and NATO again from the USA. As you can see, you have an outstanding group of people to choose from, and I'm proud that UICC has attracted such accomplished individuals. It is very satisfying seeing so many great people interested in being part of the UICC board. May I wish every one of them the very best in the vote, which will conclude soon. I now hand back to Carrie Adams in the Geneva studio to open the question and answer session. Thank you, and over to you, Carrie.
Thank you very much, Anil, for that overview of the voting election process. I really appreciate it. Now, before we move on to the Q&A, as Anil just said then, the voting is stopping very soon. So please get in and do your votes. Otherwise, I'm afraid you will miss the vote. We're now going to have a live Q&A, and I'm hoping that online we have Jeff, Ulrika, and Hannah. And we do. The miracles of technology. Hello, guys. We're going to run a Q&A for a few moments. I've got all the questions here, and I'm not too sure if you've seen them all. So let's see how we get on. Hannah, I've got a question for you come through. It says, is it usual that organisations in Switzerland get a clean audit? Perhaps you could comment on that as the Treasurer.
Well, first of all, I'm so glad with this General Assembly meeting. And yes, the audits are conducted globally with high standards, and Swiss organizations are known for maintaining transparent financial reporting practices, often leading to clear audits. Now, as a UICC treasurer for the past term, I'm so proud that the UICC team is audited on a yearly basis by PwC, and where the last one in 2023 was green, as we all know, and we are sharing our annual reports that are published to members as well.
Thank you very much, Hannah. Jeff, there's a lot of affection for you in the membership of the UICC. You probably felt that at the Congress anyway, but question for you. Everyone's delighted that Ulrika's coming in as the president, but what is Jeff Dunn going to be doing? Is he still going to be working with UICC?
Oh, Kerry, thank you for that. Let me assure you the affection runs both ways. I have been involved with the UICC for many years, and certainly for a long time before I was on the board. I expect, as do all our past presidents, to maintain a relationship in that formal sense, but also through connections and people and projects and activities. I mean, I'm certainly still around and available and connected, and will forever remain a great supporter of the UICC, and will always be looking for opportunities to provide support and encouragement.
Jeff, you're not going to get away. Don't worry. We're going to hunt you down. Ulrika, question for you. This is a reflection on the World Cancer Congress. I'm sure many people who are online were there, but the question is, what were the highlights for you at the Congress, and were there any new initiatives which you were particularly proud of?
The Congress was just amazing. And I just want to build on what Jeff said. He won't get away that easy. We will try to get him still engaged in the UICC activities. And I've asked him actually to be part of the planning for the next Congress in Hong Kong in 2026. So hopefully he will accept that. So you'll be able to meet Jeff again. No, I think the Congress was so amazing. It was really an opportunity for networking and sharing experiences. But what really stayed with me is some of the sessions we had on AI, because I think they were done in a quite a new and very interesting way. It was really about real stories, real solutions. It was on AI from very different perspectives, and in terms of early diagnosis, in treatment, and in quality of life. And a nurse telling about how you can actually use this as a tool for cancer patients. And it was so impressive, but also the pros and cons and the dangers with AI. So I think that was really framed in very interesting ways, and very interesting today when there was announced a new Nobel Prize in physics that was actually related to AI. But I think there was so many interesting perspectives. So I really recommend you to go online and to look into the content of the Congress. And a lot was, of course, on different dimensions of equity in cancer control and sharing experiences and ideas that can actually be implemented in all parts of the world.
Hannah, perhaps I could ask the same question of you. I know you were seeing very many sessions and catching up with members. What were the highlights for you at the Congress?
For me, basically, what Erlika has just mentioned was exactly the same, because like the new opportunities that are arising with the digital health and how the Congress focused on those innovative approaches in cancer care, they do give us a promising future for the control of cancer and the treatment and the innovation of treatment that will be available. And yes, we do invite each and everyone who didn't have the chance to attend the Congress to go to the platform that is still available till end of December, I guess, and to access the sessions, because they are very, not to forget the opportunities for partnership and the way we network all together so that we can collaborate more and more on different and more on future endeavors for everyone.
Jeff, you mentioned the young leaders. I think you said there were 60 odd in your presentation. We've got a question here come through about how can younger generations get involved in cancer advocacy and also awareness initiatives? What are your views? I mean, reflections on the Young Leader Program and how that's worked, but I guess it goes beyond the Young Leader Program. It's about getting younger people into cancer control. What advice do you have?
Well, I mean, look, a terrific question. And on the Young Leaders Program specifically, I mean, it is heartwarming to see where some of our young leaders have, ended up. On the board of the UICC, one of the highlights, just taking a step back, one of the highlights for me at the World Cancer Congress, among all of those already mentioned, was the focus on lived experience and, putting patients at the centre. Our new World Cancer Day theme, which was launched at the World Cancer Congress too, which is United by Unique, about, again, we're all unique and having a person-centered focus. But there was a meeting held on lived experience sponsored by the WHO. And the session I was at, I mean, it was actually pulled together by a past young leader, Andre, and it was co-chaired by another current young leader. And when I look at that, and I think that on the board of the UICC we have young leaders, the contribution they are making around the world, I would encourage young people out there who are interested in this to look for opportunities locally through their communities, but to also avail themselves of what we, through the UICC and other larger global organisations, provide by way of mentorships, by way of training, by way of engagement opportunities, through attending meetings, either virtually or online, but certainly to actually put yourself in the centre and make some decisions about wanting to be involved and then seeking out ways that you can. And there are mechanisms, and if you're unsure, please just visit our website or talk to one of our team and we can help point you in the right direction. Because the young people and the young leaders, they are the future of cancer control. It's such an important investment. And it's been an important investment for the UICC over these last few years, and we must continue that work into the future.
Thank you for that, Jeff. Ulrika, just a question for you. It says, what's the best way for individuals to become informed about UICC activities and potentially to get to participate in those activities? What advice would you give?
Well, I strongly recommend all UICC members to go to UICC Connect. And Jeff mentioned a bit about that initiative that we launched this last year. It's all about sharing and learning and connecting. And you can go there if you're interested in a specific theme or something you want to learn or share and discuss. And we're focusing more and more of our activities there. And I'm also planning as the incoming president to maybe have some sort of dialogues on this platform to really have it connecting us. So you can stay connected, you can understand what's being planned for, and you can also initiate new discussions yourselves and connect with peers. So that would be my first way to connect to the UICC and to learn more about what's happening and stay connected.
Perhaps I could just follow up on that. We're running out of time, unfortunately. But there was a question coming through about how can civil society organisations get involved in ATOM and understand more about it. If you go to uicc.org and search ATOM, there is a section on that. So please look at that. But also there's a lot of information on uicc.org about what the work has been done by the team. And also if you want to get involved, then just reach out to the UICC through the info at UICC and one of the team will connect with you. On that basis, Jeff, we will conclude the Q&A. And I believe it's my turn to pass over to you because you're going to tell us the results of some of the votes if they've come through. So over to you, Jeff.
Here. Thank you, Kerry, and thank you, Hannah and Ulrika, for participating in the Q&A. We will now move on to having a look at the voting results for the financials and for the discharge of the board and the CEO. But before doing so, it's important, I think, we just take a minute to acknowledge and thank some members of the board who are leaving. It's important to know that Christiana, Danielle and Anna Christina have each completed 6 full years on the board and as such, according to the Constitution, need to be stepping down. Each of them have brought great expertise, unwavering commitment and infectious enthusiasm to their work at the board. They've also brought a great sense of collegiality and they've been a pleasure to work with. To Christiana, to Danielle and to Anna Christina, to each one of you, thank you on behalf of your fellow board members. Thank you on behalf of the members of the UICC and our partners. And most importantly, I think, thank you from all those people around the world who have benefited from your good work in contributing to the work of the UICC in cancer control. You've made an outstanding contribution and we thank you for it. We do wish you well in the future and we do hope that you stay close and remain members of our extended UICC family. Again, on behalf of all of us, thank you very much. It's now time to have a look at some voting results. So we've got 2 things to look at, voting results for the financials and voting results for discharging the board and the CEO. First up, can we have a look at the approvals for the financial results? How did the votes fare? Well, 90%. Excellent work. Thank you to our treasurer, Hannah, who has done an outstanding job and was happily able to report on green audits and balanced budgets. So well done. And thank you to you, our members, for approving the financials. Can we now look at the results for our on discharging the board of directors and the CEOs for their duties and responsibilities for this period? And again, over 95%. So let's take that as approval by the membership for the discharge of responsibilities, which is terrific. So thank you very much, members, for doing that. What I would now like to do, and very happily, is to hand over to our president-elect, very soon to be president, in fact, in just a few minutes' time, to hand over to Ulrika to actually tell us about our future plans and hopes for the next few years. Over to you, Ulrika.
Thank you. Before I present my thoughts on the next 2 years, I would like to thank you, Jeff, for being such an inspirational president in the last 2 years. I would also like to thank the current board for their commitment and enthusiasm. It's truly a privilege to be working together with such passionate people and brilliant minds. Thank you also to the candidates for the president-elect and board of directors now waiting for the election results. Having been through the UICC election process 4 times myself, I know how nerve-wracking it is waiting for the results to be displayed. I wish everyone the best of luck. As we look to the future, I'm incredibly excited about the journey ahead. In the next 2 years, I will ensure that we continue the great work we've undertaken over the last few years, and as detailed in the UICC business plan. My aim is to keep us moving forward, to ensure that we, together, accelerate our impact in a few critical areas where we truly can make a difference. They are improving equity in cancer control globally, ensuring that cancer is a priority in the global health and development agendas, uniting and supporting the cancer community, enhancing global partnerships for greater impact. Accelerating our efforts in these areas are crucial in fulfilling our long-term strategic ambitions. These focus areas will help me work with the board, the management team, the members, and our partners in an effective and impactful way. As highlighted in the World Cancer Day campaign, Close the Care Gap, we face massive inequities in cancer control around the world, between nations, between regions, within nations, even within cities. Access to screening, early detection, treatment and care should be available to all, regardless of where you live or who you are. Every country should address inequities through a fully funded national cancer control plan. From a UICC perspective, I will commit to driving forward our Atom Coalition initiative to increase availability of cancer medicines in low and lower middle income countries. And our successes with medicines has to be matched with increased access to radiotherapy, surgery, pathology and diagnostics. A lot can be said about the world's response to the COVID pandemic, but one thing is clear. It reminded us of the force of science and the importance of international cooperation. Cancer is the second largest killer in the world, and it demands urgent, unified global action, and it's up to us to rise to the challenge. The painful truth is that 70% of cancer deaths today occur in low and middle-income countries, and 70% of the growth in cases will occur in countries whose health systems are least able to cope with them in the future years. In high-income countries, the challenges are different. We're not making the progress needed on cancer risk factors, and vaccination and screening rates are not where they should be. Even in Europe, the differences in survival rates on the most common cancers vary significantly across the continent. As we approach the UN high-level meeting on NCDs next September, we must ensure as a community that cancer is not forgotten. In 2017, the World Health Assembly passed a resolution on cancer control, which catalyzed such global initiatives as the Cervical Cancer Elimination Project, led by WHO. On its 10th anniversary, I would like to see another cancer resolution at the 2027 World Health Assembly, re-energizing country commitments to cancer control around the world. As a member organization, UICC has a critical role to bring together cancer organizations and others to learn of each other so we can be more effective in all countries. At the recent World Cancer Congress, I was inspired by the way UICC members help, support and guide each other so that we share best practice across national boundaries. Whilst the UICC team in Geneva can lead on global advocacy, by partnering with its members at a national level, I believe we can be more effective at changing national mindsets. Through UICC Connect, I'm sure that cross-member collaboration will increase in future years and not simply rely on our set-piece events like the World Cancer Congress and the Summit. As a convener, I promise to maximize the ways in which UICC can bring us together to address common problems faced in all countries. We all know that making real progress in cancer control requires bold collective action across multiple sectors. UICC has been leading on this for many years. Just look at the Atom Coalition, now featuring more than 40 companies and organizations who are working together to improve access to cancer medicines in lower middle-income countries. UICC is walking the talk of multi-sectoral collaboration. Now let me turn to two specific activities which are to be undertaken during my time as president, initiatives that I'm very excited about. The current World Cancer Declaration runs until the end of 2025. The process of rewriting has begun already, but we will continue to seek member and partner input with the ambition to issue a new declaration at the World Cancer Leaders Summit in November 2025 in Melbourne. And in line with the UICC governance framework, the board is charged every 4 years to reflect on UICC's strategic ambition. This will take place in 2026, and I intend to engage you all so we fully integrate your thoughts into the final output. A document which I hope will inspire companies, organizations, and individuals to join or support our great work. The theme for the next 3 years on World Cancer Day is United by Unique. The website and all the supporting materials will be shared with members and partners soon. I'm sure you will be excited by the theme which underpins this tagline. The theme is a people-first approach to cancer, rooted in empathy and compassion. I'm sure that it will galvanize our community and resonate with cancer patients around the world. And next year, we will visit Melbourne for the World Cancer Leaders Summit, and the theme will be Bridging Divides, Building Futures, which focus on the challenges in equitable cancer control. And in 2026, I will conclude my presidency at the World Cancer Congress in Hong Kong. I'm truly thrilled for this opportunity, as it will mark a powerful and fitting conclusion to the incredible work we have accomplished together. I am delighted to be your president in the next 2 years, and I look forward to seeing the results of the election and welcoming the new board members and president-elect who will join me on this journey. Thank you. And now I hand over to Carrie in Geneva.
Thank you, Ulrika, for that overview of the next 2 years. We now get to the point where I'm sure there are a lot of nervous people around the world waiting for results on the elections. I will pass over to Jeff Dunn, who I believe will be announcing them in the next minute or so. Jeff, over to you.
Hey, thank you, Kerry. Good to be back. And yes, the election results have been finalised. They have been counted and verified, and we are now in a position to announce who our new president-elect and board of directors will be. So first of all, just by way of reminder, our two candidates for the role of president-elect are Pramesh and Zainab, both sitting board members, both wonderful contributors, colleagues and friends, and we wish them both well. It is no small thing to put yourself up, to put yourself out there for election, and we thank them both for their contribution and for standing. We have the results. May we have the slide indicating who has been elected president-elect? Congratulations, Zainab. Well done to you, Zainab. I am hoping that in a little while we might be able to link with you live to get a few words from you, perhaps after we see who's been elected to our board of directors. To Pramesh, our thanks for running for president-elect. And now let's see how we go with our candidates for board of directors. By way of reminder, this was the slate. Can I again stress and reinforce the words of Vanilda Cruz about the quality of the slate? Each and every one of these people are worthy members of the UICC board. It's an outstanding slate of candidates. Can we please see the results of the election for the UICC Board of Directors? Ladies and gentlemen, in alphabetical order, let me read these through. The people elected to serve on the Board of Directors 2024-2026 are Matty Apro, Eric Buffet, Stella, who's an existing board member, Myra, Hannah, who we've heard from tonight as our treasurer, Todd from Australia, Chris Jackson from New Zealand, David from the UK, Gilberto from the USA, Kenji from Mexico, Assam from Jordan, Miriam from Africa, Pramesh from India, and Kathleen from the USA. Congratulations to each and every one of you. And to those of you who were not elected this evening, please rest assured you remain important to us. We encourage you to stay connected to the UICC. Let's continue to work together. Thank you for running for office. Again, congratulations to Zainab, our new president-elect, and congratulations to our new board members, or re-elected and new. And I do understand, Zainab, have I got you live? Can you hear me there?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, Jeff. Thank you.
Congratulations, Zainab.
Thank you, Jeff.
How do you
Thank
feel?
you very much. Well, it's amazing. Thank you so much to all the members that voted for me and to my dear colleague Pramesh. It was a tough race, and even Eureka, we've been on this for, it's a 4-year race, not a 3-year one, in case you forgot. So I will do my best to work as best as I can with all the members, all the management, and uphold the goals that the UICC is known for: uniting the global community and improving cancer control, reaching every corner of the globe, and hoping that we can foster better relationships between the high, low, middle-income countries and close those inequities that exist so much in cancer. I thank you all. I appreciate you, and you won't be disappointed in this vote. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff, and all the best to you.
Thank you very much. And, you know, an exciting 4 years ahead for you, as 2 as president-elect and 2 as president. I mean, have you got a final message for the UICC members out there?
Well, what I can say to them is that there are a lot of issues in cancer control. We have the UICC as a credible organization that is doing well. We have an able leadership now. We've always had good leaders, Jeff, and now we have a new president that is going to oversee the board. I think we should look closely at all our initiatives and make sure that we make the most of them, bring them back home locally to improve cancer control in our communities. The union is open, is willing to work with all organizations, and the management, Carrie, the CEO, has done a great job in the last 20 years, I think he's been at the UICC, and it's fantastic. To the board members, I look forward to still being with you. I've been telling people, look, if you don't vote for me, I'm going to be jobless. So you have to vote for me. So I'm glad.
Well, we're glad to keep you employed, I must say. Well done, Zainab. Actually, Ulrika, are you there? We might just ask Ulrika to join us.
Well, warmest congratulations to the new board and our new president-elect Zainab, and I'm very much looking forward to working closely with you all over the next 2 years. And as you mentioned, Jess, and Neil, he mentioned all the candidates impressed the nomination committee. So for you who didn't make it this time, I encourage you to stay close to the UICC. There will be opportunities to engage in our activities. But before we embark on this next chapter, I would like to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to you, Jeff. It would be impossible for me not to acknowledge your outstanding contributions to the cancer community over the past decades. and in particular your leadership during the last 2 years. Despite the personal challenges you face dealing with cancer and its treatment, your energy, commitment, and sense of fun have never wavered. You've been a constant source of inspiration to us all. You've been working with the UICC for decades, as I mentioned, but over the last 6 years, it's been my privilege to serve alongside you on this board in your roles as treasurer, president-elect, and president. You've been nothing short of remarkable. Your unique ability to bring energy and enthusiasm even to the most formal and detailed discussions is a talent few possess. Your generosity in sharing your vast knowledge has been invaluable to each and every one of us. Under your leadership, we've taken significant strides in becoming a more membership-centered organization, but also particularly with the Atom Coalition. Thanks to your vision and determination, we've entered the next phase, which I'm convinced will have a lasting impact on cancer patients' access to medicines in low and lower middle-income countries. And Jeff, your contributions made a profound difference, not just to UICC, but to countless people around the world. And I know that I speak for the entire UICC community when I say that you've been an extraordinary leader, a motivating force, and a true inspiration. And I have to add, dear friend, it's been such a privilege working with you. Yes, you have been terrific. And for that, we're forever grateful. Thank you, and a big hug. I wish I was able to hug you in person, but this is a virtual hug from me, but a symbol from all the UICC community. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Ulrika. That's heartwarming, and I do appreciate it. Again, this has been very much a two-way street. I have enjoyed every minute of it. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end. By way of final comment, can I just say, Ulrika is going to make a sensational president. I would have said terrific, but she's already used the word.
Can say terrific.
Well, she'll be terrific as well. We'll make a sensational president, and she has my 100% support and encouragement, as does Zainab as president-elect and our newly elected board of directors. I want to just finish off by saying thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you out there, the members of the UICC, the stakeholders, the supporters of the UICC. I have to say to you, you know, from deep inside me, it's been a privilege to serve. I have spent over 30 years in one way or another with the UICC, the last 10 on the board, and every step, every moment of that experience has just been wonderful. I wouldn't trade a moment. The people that I've met and the things that we've achieved, and that's the UICC. It's about the people, the quality of people that come together through shared vision to try and do something positive and that get on with things, to make things happen, that desire to achieve. I want to thank my board colleagues, current and past, and all the supporters and partners of the UICC. Thank you, each and every one of you. I certainly want to place on record my deep appreciation to the executive team, to Kerry Adams, who's served 15 years now as CEO, and our executive team, which is first class, who do outstanding work day in, day out, heavy lifting, day in, day out, making things happen. We do appreciate it. I do wish Ulrika and Zainab and the new board of directors every success, because today we, the members of the UICC, pass to them responsibility for the care of this outstanding organisation, to nurture it, to grow it. And it's important that it continues to grow, it continues to do well, because it's what brings us all together. This wonderful organisation with a focus, a commitment to making the world a better place, a world free from the burden of cancer. And by your membership and by your support, you are joined in this quest. And we thank you for it. We thank you for everything you have done to date. And we thank you for all you will do in the future, because we can't do it without you. And to each and every one of you, you are making a difference. As Celine would say, et voila. There it is. Au revoir. Back to you, Kerry.
Jeff, I've got a pen, an iPhone, some papers, but I haven't got a handkerchief. And you're making me cry, so stop it. Jeff, I just echo everything that Ulrika just said. It's been so much fun working with you, and I'm speaking on behalf of the UIC team, all the management team, the executive. There hasn't been a moment when we haven't had fun working with you, trying to make a difference in the work that we do. And I also, just to put on record, I think you probably did the most number of 10, 11 and midnight calls of any board member I've known during that time. So I'm really proud. I think you need some sleep now that you've concluded your presidency, but please get the most of it. Also, Ulrika, congratulations on becoming the president of UICC. Delighted to have you on the team again. May I congratulate Zainab on becoming president-elect. And delighted to see Pramesh is on the board. Pramesh, another opportunity will come round. Don't worry, it'll come round. Well done, Zainab. Congratulations to all the board members. Looking forward to catching up with you soon. And also looking forward to seeing members of UICC around the world on World Cancer Day. We'll follow you on social media, see what you're doing with the new campaign. Also see you at the summit in Melbourne and hopefully at the World Cancer Congress when we go over to Hong Kong in a couple of years' time. And on that note, we conclude the 2024 General Assembly. Thank you very much for voting. Thank you very much for dialing in. And I hope the next few months and the next few years are great for whatever you're doing in cancer control around the world. Thank you.